Hey there. So we're doing this reading a little bit different. And this is just an experiment, so I'm going to see how this video works to do the reading, and if not, then we'll go over to the slides. This is a pick a reflection, and there are 12 choices. You can choose by your sun sign, you can choose just by how your intuition leads you. You can check your moon, rising signs as well if you know them and would like to. So we'll just give a moment for a deep breath for you to decide. I also have my astrology bucket here, so I may pull some from the astrology bucket off camera to assist me in the reading, but let's see how this goes. We're going to start with Aries. Okay. I pre-dealt these out, so I'm just taking a moment here. One thing I'm wondering if I won't like it about this method is that I can't kind of zoom in. Let's see. Yeah, I like being able to zoom in so I can read this stuff. Okay. Aries, we've got lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. This is from the Starseed Oracle. You got thoughts create your reality. From the Archangel Michael deck, you got take your time making this decision. And there's a little prayer here for you to address Archangel Michael to assist you in making your decision in this situation. It's saying to take a step back. Then you've got friendship, change, and nessus. Let me just recall what the feeling I got was about this when I dealt it out. Originally, I didn't think I was going to narrate these, and I thought I would just offer them as the picture, as the reading, for you to interpret yourself, but I was getting so many impressions that I just felt like I wanted to narrate these. Okay, so the feeling I got when I saw this, it was like you may be thinking about a situation in terms of it feels abusive or wrong, and it may be in terms of a friendship, but we've got change here, and that they're advising to take your time making the decision. And then if we look at let go of your judgments and pay attention to signs. So you may have been getting signs or impressions about some sort of a pattern of abuse, or a pattern where it may not come out as abuse exactly. It's just a power struggle in a relationship where people are trying to have power over each other in their way of relating. So it could be through people-pleasing, it could be through narcissistic tendencies, could be through transactional relating, it could be through manipulation or strings attached or things like this, okay? So I think this message is about letting you see it from a different perspective and perhaps heal the issue within yourself through what you are shown. Like you're being shown something within a friendship, something that you can change about yourself, where you're being advised to kind of take a pause before you cut off this friendship or let it go, dismissing it as abuse. I think there's another perspective. And because of the energy that you have lodged in you waiting to be healed, it's showing you that the energy lodged in you is creating the reality before you. The way you see things is because of the energy that you have lodged in you. So we've got soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. So it's telling me that this is a karmic pattern. and that there's something to be learned from this pattern, and you may have even brought it in from another lifetime. Express your individuality. Like, it's perfectly beautiful and right to be who you are and to express how you want to. Spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing power. So I want to say frankincense comes to mind as a healing essential oil that could be helpful in moving some energy through you. Okay, so basically your message, Aries, is through the reflection you see in a friendship of something that's uncomfortable, something that's making you feel like there's a power struggle or strings attached, or something that is inhibiting who you are and the expression of who you are. Whether or not you're going to let that friendship go, it's important to take a look at what it is showing you about you. It could be that you are that same thing, you're doing this same thing, but you haven't seen it in yourself. It could be that you're doing everything you can to avoid being that thing. You could have a judgment lodged in you against those things. So you're just getting another chance to look at an old thing and decide again. So you might have recognized this pattern happening with other relationships and other friendships in your life too. And whatever solution that you came up with before for handling the situation, it actually didn't break the pattern, because here it is again. So it's just like, okay, well, look at this again. See if you can trace back within yourself where that pattern is lodged, either as a judgment or something that you are in the moment, or even as something that you haven't allowed for yourself. Maybe you have like a take charge person who's kind of bossy in your friend circle. Maybe you haven't allowed yourself to be a take charge person. You know, it could be something along those lines. So, alright, so remember, this is a message just for your reflection, and only take what is helpful to you. If it's not helpful to you, then it's not meant for you. And that is your reading, Aries. We're going to move on to Taurus. Okay, Taurus. You've got Portal. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards. Wild card. Starkeeper. Cosmic ancestors seed the light by staying grounded. Oh yeah, this was the one where we have grounding that came up twice. See right over here, grounding. So grounding's kind of a big deal for you right now. Really important. So if you can get your feet on the earth, take showers, imagine growing roots into the center of the earth. Whatever you do to stay grounded. There's a practice taught by Donna Eden where you tap your cheekbones, and this helps you ground. Tapping on these meridians causes you to ground into the earth. Okay, so that's important. And maybe because you have been having a lot of trouble or overwhelm, you may have been overindulging in certain things to kind of compensate or comfort yourself and things like that, but it's suggesting that you practice moderation in whatever you're doing. Kindness counts. And I feel like when I get this card, it's talking about a way to give yourself some credit. It's like you are a kind person, and that counts for a lot. Like maybe you don't have a lot going on for you right now, and it's, you know, kind of weighing on you. Maybe things are up in the air. Maybe you're going through transitions, and things that you used to do are falling apart, and you feel like a lot of your investments haven't really paid off yet, or you're having to start again. It's like, well, kindness counts for a lot, so don't forget that asset that you have. Then you got Whale, Soul's Path, and that message is honor your soul's purpose. So whatever you're learning through this process, even though it may feel like there's a lot of chaos, and it may feel like things are falling apart, you're actually gaining room to be more of who you are. And when we see card Shield Yourself. I want to say that that has more to do with, instead of like acting like you need protection, because if you get in the vibration of needing protection, then you're just going to experience more things to need protection from. So when I see Shield Yourself, it's about shielding yourself from your own negative thoughts, your own negative self-talk, your own expectation of things going wrong, your own pessimism, your own expectations at all. Shield yourself, meaning let yourself believe that it's all working out so that it has room to do so. And don't line yourself up with the battles, at the things that aren't pleasant for you, that would cause you to feel like you needed to protect yourself. You got be yourself. This situation calls for you to be your authentic self, which is the basis for your personal power. So you can trust yourself more, and that's going to be a lot easier as you give yourself more credit. Besides grounding over here on the black cards, we got contradiction and Mercury. So something in your mind is like you're seeing both sides of a thing. And it may feel like a contradiction, but actually when we're seeing a contradiction and we're using Mercury energy, so we're using our logical mind, and we might even be doing it in our communication or noticing it through our communication, what it's showing us is that we have the ability to balance out some energy. We can actually free ourselves from any karma by looking at both sides of it and balancing the energy. So the contradiction might not be sitting well in your mind, but it is bringing your attention to something that you can actually settle in your mind. So be kind to yourself, whatever you're feeling. If it's confusion, be kind to the version of you that's confused. If it's frustration because you have confusion, be kind to the version of you who is frustrated. Doors are opening. Okay, so you're getting ready to upgrade your life here. And by balancing out this energy where you see the contradiction, like maybe it's like both things are true, or you feel like you can't win in something, or you feel like giving up, so you're kind of overindulging in coping mechanisms and things. But actually, it's because you're at the end of a cycle and you're actually ready to level up. And it's part of your life's purpose to do so. And right when you're ready to level up, it feels like all this kind of stuff is on you. That's why this card about Shield Yourself is coming up, because if you were in the 3D view, it might seem like you needed to get a shield and block yourself. And some people put themselves in an energetic bubble and things like that. But actually, you can step out of that level of being and that level of consciousness once you rectify the contradictions in your mind. You'll be able to see above them when you realize that both things are true. Look at 3 reasons why both are true. Make it okay and accept that both things are true. Surrender the need to have these definitions and these definite rules and this knowledge. Go just with your kindness through the door. You are stepping through a door and you don't know what's on the other side. So go with your kindness and the premise of who you are. Seed the light by staying grounded. So you are really, you're a Taurus, possibly. You're attracted to Taurus energy, and then you get grounding twice. So I feel like it's really showing us that you are grounding something to Earth that's going to be very vital and important to your life's purpose. So really pay attention to what it is you're doing at this time, where you see the contradiction, where you feel ungrounded and might tend to overindulge, and where you haven't allowed yourself to be who you really are. And trust that everything's working out. Remember, this is just a message to reflect on, and it's meant to be helpful. If it's not helpful to you, then it's not meant for you. Okay? There's your message, and we're going to move on to the next one. So after Taurus, we got Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Here we got all paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within, Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. Down here for the Archangel Michael card, you got a favorable outcome. So whatever the situation is, it's a favorable outcome. The whale is honor your soul's purpose. The snake is you are a healer. Okay, so you're learning a lesson right now. We know that. And this lesson, it might feel like, oh, I've been doing this before, or I've seen this before, or this always happens, you know. It's like you're actually learning to deal with a certain lesson, a certain challenge in a new way. You're solving a puzzle, okay? And the puzzle might have been dealt with in various ways before that were for you to experience at the time you used them, but having used them, you know that it didn't get the freedom that you might have wanted from the pattern, and you didn't yet have the full picture and understanding of what you meant to learn from the pattern. So then we have never judge another, and then you actually got the marriage card over here. The fairies join you in celebrating wedded bliss. Then if we look at all these black cards here, these are my custom advice oracle. It says decide how you want to feel. So how are you feeling in this pattern you've been in? Are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling confused? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling like it's never ending, or, you know, pessimistic or anything like that? It's like the next card says negative feelings or thoughts equal it. And what this means is like, it's just a way to acknowledge that these negative feelings and thoughts are present. Like if you are frustrated, frustration, it feels frustrated. You know, it's just like identifying and being present with, and not being frustrated yourself, but saying frustration is present, really. Because all of these emotions, these negative feelings and thoughts, I should say, instead of emotions, because the feelings and thoughts are how you're interpreting the emotion. So the negative feelings and thoughts are just needing your presence. They just need you to be aware of them, acknowledge them, and understand them. And we've got integrity. And that fell right on never judge another, so that was interesting. Integrity is being in line with your own values. So where are you out of your integrity? Where are you not acting in accordance with your own values? Something that you know is important to you, but you've been not following it. And maybe you've been judging someone instead, or judging yourself, or avoiding other people judging you. Okay, what could this imply? So what could this imply actually opens up to a bigger or different or new understanding from what you had already concluded about the same thing. So you ask yourself, you know, I've already concluded this, this, and this in the past. Now this is happening again. What could this imply? We got separation, and this is falling under this marriage card. So what could this imply? Separation and Venus. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and money. But it seems like there may be a relationship that needs to be healed, where there is currently a separation. And if it's not that you come back into union with this person, maybe you had a union that is in separation, but the fact that you separated could have held clues that were really important to you in finding some of these tangled or unloved thoughts and feelings, you know, that are waiting to be understood within yourself. When I say unloved, it's like when you give something presence and understanding, that's like loving it. And that's how we let the energy go. That's how we become a healer of ourselves. And see how the snake is coiled, just like your path has been over here. It's like you knew as a soul that this path was going to be a lot of you looking at the same pattern over and over again for a long time, to look at it from different ways. And you knew that no matter which angle you looked at it from, that you were always going to be headed to the right place. Like you can't get it wrong. Inner authority, intuition, trust your turn your gaze within. So this kind of makes me think about being in your integrity. And, you know, if there's a fear of being judged by other people, are you out of your integrity if you're not following your own intuition or inner authority? And even if you'd had followed somebody else's advice, or the path that somebody else thought was good for you, or what they suggested, or, you know, because you were confused, you decided to try it somebody else's way, that you were still going home. It says, like, you know, you never lost your way. It's just maybe you took a few more rounds, you know. And then if you look at this like you're in Earth school, this is a lesson. So you're growing, you're studying, you're looking at it from a higher view each time. You have been given this card by Archangel Michael of favorable outcome. The scales are being balanced here. And it is your soul's purpose to have this experience, balance out this energy, and heal something in the realm of love and union. And this has to do with clearing out judgments that you may have held, or fear of judgment that you may have held. You get to decide how you want to feel, not other people. And also, when you feel an emotion, say you feel this emotion and it's a rush, and you normally say that's anxiety. Well, what if it's excitement? What if that feeling is better interpreted as excitement? Anxiety has been said to be an energy that indicates that we don't trust ourselves. So it can happen around topics where we don't trust ourselves to handle them. But if we change our mindset overall to a growth mindset, knowing that we are stepping into the unknown because we're learning something here on Earth school and that we can't get it wrong, then if it's okay to make a mistake, and knowing that we are learning from the consequences each time we try something and learn what does or doesn't work, then we can kind of see where this feeling of anxiety could be excitement. It's excitement because you're going to push out of a comfort zone. It's excitement because you're going to learn something new. It's excitement because you might fuck this up and learn something. You might fuck this up and free yourself. You might fuck this up and actually be rejoined and love a part of yourself that didn't know it was okay to make mistakes. And that's being in integrity. Okay. Remember, this is just a reading for reflection, and it's meant to be helpful, so if it's not helpful to you, then it's not meant for you. I'm going to end your reading there, and we are going to move on to Cancer. Alright, Cancer. You got Portal, doors are opening, you decide, rewards, and wildcard. And you got all paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Over here from the Archangel Michael deck, you got admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. The deception card came on that card, and so I think there is somewhere that you're telling yourself a story about something and it's not quite true. It's a coping mechanism. Then we've got thoughts create your reality. So because you think it's true, you're living out something over and over again. And you've been living it out over and over again for a while. And this is just the time for you to start allowing yourself to see it in a different way, so that you can make new decision about how you want to proceed. because this is the time when this portal's open, this door that you can go through to kind of make a big change. You've got breathe, Jupiter, and discomfort. So what's going to be propelling you to make a different choice this time is discomfort. It's something where you usually use a certain coping mechanism, but this time you're going to lean into the discomfort, welcome it in, accept it, acknowledge it, validate why it's there, understand it, and love the part of you that feels it. And that offers you the grace, appreciate the beauty inside and all around you. Like you get to see this beautiful, loving, nurturing being that you are when you take the time to love yourself through your own discomfort. Breathe, use that breath. And Jupiter is the beneficial influence in the chart, and it makes everything bigger. So take those breaths, big, deep breaths. But it also means that discomfort could be bigger right now. And that would be for the purpose of making sure it gets your attention, making sure you don't gloss over it or avoid it or just tell yourself that same old story. Because that story is ready to break free. And it's like that story was keeping you in your cocoon, and now you're ready to break out and be the butterfly. We've got transformation. Get ready for a big breakthrough. So it's going to feel like a weight off your shoulders. It's going to feel like you're free. And look, you've got holiday. You're going to feel like you are getting a break, finally. That you can fly freely, that you are lighter, that you can play, that you can, swim or, dance in the river like she is. You're just going to feel like you can spend some time celebrating, and celebrating how far you've come, and creating the reality that you want, or allowing yourself to live and believe that you can have that. Because if you don't believe you can have that, that might be a lie that you're telling yourself. And as long as you keep telling yourself that lie, you're going to have that discomfort. Because it is a lie. And anything that we tell ourselves that's a lie, if it's not the truth, it's not going to feel good. So, and that's because our energy is set up to it's got an immune system, right? It doesn't want to accept things that don't belong. And now it's just time for this to be seen from a different angle. It was perfectly right for you to have that perspective while you had it, because you learned a lot from it. And you need that information for where you're going and going forward. It's wisdom gained. And you're going home. Like, all paths lead to home. And Cancers are very nostalgic and love being at home with their loved ones. So it is saying that you're going to feel a lot more comfortable. Like, your holiday could just be in the backyard, It could be that you take a vacation. It could be that you get some time off. It could be that you lose, or that you change jobs, or, something like that. And that you have some time off or something like that. Okay. So, Cancer, there's just a little place where you've been telling yourself something to cope, but it's now time to be able to look at the truth of the matter, or look at it from a different perspective, which is also the truth, because how you were seeing it before was your truth at the time. But since your thoughts create your reality, is that the reality that you want to have? Because you have this whole time right now to heal and understand and break free, and go on further down your journey. And there are a lot of great things here ready for you on that journey. Okay, Cancer, remember, this is a message just for reflection. So when it's meant to be helpful, only take it if it's helpful to you, and if it isn't, then leave that for somebody else. I'm going to end your reading there, and we're going to move on to the next one. After Cancer is Leo. Okay, Leo. Child of the cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. I thought this was cool because not only that, but you also got the children card. Right there, 2 child cards. Working with children is part of your life's purpose, it says. Perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. Then we've got Squirrel, preparation. Get ready for big changes. Okay. Then, down here from Archangel Michael, you and your loved ones are safe. For these advice cards, we got, what could this imply? And this is underneath the your life's purpose involves working with children card. So I do think that you have a career that does involve working with children in some way. Perhaps the young children that are coming to Earth at this time. You are grounding maybe a safer, what do I want to say? An environment. You're providing an environment for them in some way. You're providing an environment for them that does not lock them into the lack paradigm. And so you have filled up your own cup. I know this because it's saying give without expectation. And that means that you're going to give from your overflow. So that means you've got to spend a lot of time loving yourself and making sure you're giving yourself, your body, everything that you need. We got 10th house here, so I know that that's how I know your career is involved, your public standing, your reputation. And let go of ego. So there may be some part of you that feels like there's a different role for you, or that there's certain expectations of you that either you've had or society has had. And it might be that I heard you're keeping score. And I think that this is an invitation to give from a place, from your heart. From this filled up place of not feeling in lack at all, not feeling like you have to prove anything, not feeling like you have to keep score, just having filled up your own self and doing what you love so that it feels like you're doing something that you're meant to do and that you feel fulfilled in. And the ego could be an inferior ego program as well, which fears and says that you're not good enough, or that you can't make it happen, or things like this. But you got this from the Starseed Oracle. You got the intelligence of the universe lies within you. So this is something that you came to do, and this what could this imply card gives you a chance to ask this question of yourself, where it's been something that you've looked at before, or maybe something is presented to you in a way, and you're confused by it, or you make a quick decision. Maybe look at it again and ask, what could this imply? Like, maybe there are other ways to look at it, because you are being given this opportunity to kind of leave something behind that was limiting you in the way of a coping mechanism. And a coping mechanism would have been to protect you. And it could have been like trying to earn money for your family or your loved ones, because there's a reassurance here that you and your loved ones are safe. And so, like, maybe you're working a traditional job right now, and this would require you to start something new. And you're afraid because of the challenges of needing to support yourself and things like that. But it seems like there would be a way forward that, would include you and your family being safe. And this involves a big breakthrough. It's the right time to do it. It involves children. Oh, please excuse my yawn. Maybe you're getting impressions in your dream state. Okay. So we got environment here as well. And that's what I was really talking about, where you're creating an environment for the children. The Dr. Bruce Lipton was the one who shared the information about how we are downloaded in up to our first 7 years of life with our environment. And that's how we get programmed for life. And so that's why a lot of us have perpetuated our lack programming onto our children, because that's what we had and that's the environment that we provided for them. So as we evolve, we are coming up with new ways to have environments for our children that will not limit them in the way that we've been limited. That they won't have egoic coping mechanisms that live in fear, or that don't believe and trust in the fact that the universe is this beautiful intelligence lying within all of us, that we're creating this here. Okay, and I believe you are creating something that people will see and know about, and that will be helpful for all of us. So thank you. And I'm going to end the reading there. So only remember, it's some information to reflect on. Only take what's helpful to you and leave the rest. And let's go on to the next one. If that was Leo, then we're going to Virgo. Virgo, I'm gonna stop for a moment and take a nice big drink of water, so you may need to hydrate, Virgo. Okay. Excuse me. Virgo, you got karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict, surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. So you got the summer card. And you also got the new career card. It says your work life is shifting, your work focus is shifting. You got the turtle, retreat, stop trying to make something happen. So take your focus off something that you're trying to make happen. As your body becomes stronger, you begin to feel stronger. So get some exercise. So we got surrender here, and you also got the stop trying to make something happen. So you are trying to create something, but you're creating something on a foundation that is not as strong as it needs to be. So you got 4th house and Taurus here and Libra. So the foundation needs to be much more balanced before you build on it. So kind of pull back your energy to go within, work on yourself, get some exercise, listen to your body, see what your body needs, surrender that, knowing that, you know, your higher power can handle things, that it is coming to you, that there may be some career things that you're going to focus on. You got lust here, and you are here for a reason. So that's kind of interesting, and it makes me wonder if lust may have been used in one way, but now it kind of needs to be the energy of lust. Let's see. Like, you don't want that to be part of your foundation. You know, your foundation needs to be built on things. It's not that you can't indulge in lust at times, because this is one of the advice cards, but it's asking you to look at lust. So what is the role of lust in your life, you know? And you are here for a reason, and that's under the change in the focus of your career. So is your career involving something with lust? And is there a lustful situation in your career that is causing you to have to shift gears? And could that be a karmic relationship? Could that involve a karmic relationship? And a karmic relationship means it's showing you something within yourself that you are ready to understand on a deeper level and create balance in. And it's interesting because balance is the exact thing you need for a solid foundation. So this lust situation happening in your career, and possibly and likely with a karmic relationship, it's poking in you something that is ready to be healed and looked at. So whatever it is, whatever you feel, and it may be a lot of things you feel, and you might want to take some time to write them down, but whatever it is that you're feeling, you want to acknowledge it. and take time to be present with each thing you feel in full acceptance and with love for yourself on why you feel that way and how you feel, and make it okay for that part of you that feels that to be with you. Accept and be present with the parts of you that feel whatever you feel, whether it be anger, whether it be frustration, whether it be like you were led on, whether it be like you made a mistake, whatever it is. If you thought you sinned, it's all just energy awaiting your love. And when you have done this, when you've created balance on all these energies, and so there's nothing in you pulling or pushing, expecting or judging, now you've got a solid foundation to build on. Now with this balance, whatever you indulge in, whatever you're led to build, is going to be stable. And I think if we look at that card, surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. So this lust energy is going to be useful. Like, it's a beautiful thing to have access to. You just don't want it as part of your foundation. So definitely going to be able to utilize that, but make sure that you have balanced out any energies, and that might be something that it's showing you where there's something that's out of balance. And then when you have a nice balanced foundation, then lust might be, utilize a lust for life, a joy for life, or lustful moments with somebody that you're in a committed relationship with where you feel safe, or, things like that. Because lust is a lower density energy. So we don't want to have our foundation built on that going forward. It's really like a desire, right? So, I'm just kind of feeling this out as I've never had this thought before, but yeah, you can't build a foundation on lust because it's a desire, which means it's a longing, which means it's like your foundation will be based on the energy of needing something or wanting something, or indulging in something, sometimes recklessly, and indulgently, when really those things can be much better enjoyed on the basis of a foundation that is solid. Okay. Now, getting some exercise is an important part of this, because you want to really be in touch with your body. Your body is where you're feeling the lust, right? So your body is still in the density, and your body might need to loosen up some energy and patterns that are stuck there and that you've been operating in for a while. Allow it to release the karmic patterns, the patterns that you've outgrown. And maybe you're bringing lust up to a higher frequency of joy, of enjoying life. That's very possible as well. Stop trying to make something happen. Retreat. Yeah, just go within, see what's been poked in you. Know that it's been poked in you for a reason, that you're going to utilize it for what you're going to be doing, but first you're going to spend some time with it and be present with it, and allow yourself to learn from it. Okay. That will conclude your reading. And remember, it's only information to reflect on, and only take it if it's helpful for you. We're going to move on to the next one. After Virgo is Libra. Okay. Taurus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust, star brothers. Baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Oh yeah, Kyle Cease shared one of his everything past calls, evolving out loud calls, which he has weekly. I used to be a member of his group, but I had dropped it like more than a year ago now. Just because I didn't find myself participating as much as I had hoped I would. But he shares sometimes on YouTube, so I still get to see some of his stuff, and he shared a rather long clip, and he was talking about how it's the ego that wants to justify and make sense of everything. The intuition is in the flow, right? So if you're trying to make sense of it, then you know that's your ego. If you got the inspiration and you can act from it, that's, you know, you're in the flow. But this is maybe something that it's difficult to transition into. So it's it's baby steps, you know. You don't have to take leaps of faith right now. It's like you're going to just take the steps that you're intuiting are the right steps for you. You're really doing this to let yourself be trustworthy to yourself. You got the Archangel Michael, spend more time outdoors. So they're just saying, like, your connection to nature, you know, being away from electronics and all that, very important right now. The summer, as far as a timing card, it could mean things are going to come together in the summer for you. And it could be also that, you know, just more indication of being outdoors and around the nature is really important to you, or for you. Practice, practice, practice. Yeah, that's kind of along the lines of this baby steps card, right? So it's saying, like, it's okay to make mistakes. You're actually building your skill set. And so it's going to take practice, and it's going to take failure, and it's going to take committing to doing it over and over again. And then we've got birthday. A significant birthday holds the answer to your question. So you may be going through a rebirth. There may be a pregnancy. There may be, you know, I heard like a child's birthday. There is something where, see, we got birthday under baby steps. So there may be a pregnancy, but there's something where you maybe feel like there's some sort of timer on something, like you should have done it by now, or something like that. Star Brothers. I want to say on the card, like what I'm feeling is like you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. This is your experience. This is your life. This is your stuff to learn, you know? You were here, you were born here for this reason. It says, don't relinquish your power. So perhaps you may be inclined to follow what others say, the authority of others. Maybe you're just following the programs that you got as a child. And it's kind of trying to point out that you might have some operating systems running automatically. Because we got Virgo, pay attention to the details. Unquestioned mind, meaning what you think and believe hasn't been questioned, you just kind of got downloaded with it as a child. And then ask body. So your body is storing some of the very important information that you need. And it actually wants you to build a relationship with it so that you can work together in taking these steps and achieving. Because one of the things you're going to want to do is really be in touch with your body so that you have this sense of trust with it, and that it trusts you, and that this energy can kind of just flow through you, and your body can even give you indications of your intuition. And it gets easier and easier the more and more you do it. It's a matter of practicing. So this message is really about just like kind of just taking your space up, taking space up to be who you are, and spending that time in nature so that you can clear away some of that stuff that you haven't questioned yet in your mind. Like a lot of it will kind of just come up in your thoughts, maybe as you're meditating or taking a walk or just, you know, hugging a tree. Like there are details of things that you're going to start questioning and just letting things fall away, and it's going to be a step-by-step process. And it might be like you're reborn every day. It might be like every day is your birthday, so celebrate each step of the way. Celebrate how far you've come, and do that for every step. Do that as often as you want. Practice doing that, you know? Okay, so remember, this is just information to reflect on. It's meant to be helpful, so only take what's helpful for you and leave the rest, and we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, after Libra, we've got Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Big picture thinking. Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Then you got the practice, practice, practice card. The affirmations card. You might even be practicing bringing your view out to that big picture view. Like maybe you've been in the habit of kind of looking at just what's in front of you and really focused on things. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's like shadow work, you know. But this is an invitation to kind of pull your view out, you know, especially if you are a Scorpio in the Scorpio energy. What you're pulling out to see from a big picture is some of that underneath kind of stuff, the stuff that's in the shadows, that isn't always really thought of on a big level. But you're going to be kind of pulling your view out to look at it in context to everything else. And affirmations, make sure you're thinking the best for yourself. You've got eternal love. So there may be places where you're just not in the habit of noticing the love that there is here and the gratitude that you have, and like you may be out of practice for noticing and living in that vibration. So it's an invitation back to that as well. Then you got honor. Oh, what is this? Stop trying to make something happen. Okay. So right now you're being asked to just look at your view, change your views. Like practice with changing your view. Not actually doing this kind of practical kind of trying to change things specifically, or doing shadow work just to change things, but more or less just like practice changing your view, not changing behaviors. You see what I mean? Kindness counts, and I think this card comes up when I want to tell you that if you've looked at some things in your life and they're kind of crumbling away, things that aren't working anymore, you're in a shift, you're in a transition point, you can't really see, you know, all the great points or all the love that's there to be offered for you. Remember that kindness counts, and you're a very kind person. So make sure you're giving yourself credit for that, and make sure you are being that for yourself as well. Cirrus is the energy of unconditional love. So I want to say that this is an invitation to unconditionally love every negative thought, every doubt, every fear, every bit of anything that you haven't been kind to in yourself yet. And it's an indication that there were things in your environment that you were downloaded with that are not useful to you anymore, and that are keeping you away from really focus or really realizing the big picture of things and how everything is in balance. So it's inviting you to kind of just widen that view so you can see the balance of things better. And also, when you do go to that big picture view, you are taking that underworld view with you. So this view is a balanced view because you are looking at the big, what's within and what's without. You know, you're looking at it all, and because you're being able to do that, it balances out very easily just by looking at it, and just being really kind to yourself through that process of dealing with whatever it takes, whatever gets in your way of doing that. You know, practice being kind to yourself in the face of any doubts or fears that come up. Love them unconditionally, and keep expanding that view so you can see the bigger picture and how everything is balanced. Okay. Yeah, it's saying, retreat, stop trying to make things happen. So sit back for a while there, Scorpio, and just meditate and love and see things, and, sounds really nice. Okay. So remember, this is just some information to reflect on, and it's meant to be helpful. So if it is not helpful for you, then it's not meant for you. We're going to move on to, you can try picking another pile. We're going to move on to the next reading. After Scorpio, we have Sagittarius. Here's Sagittarius. Starbathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. And you got the winter, meaning that something is going to come to fruition in the winter, which is an odd thing to say since we don't get fruit in the winter. Emotional healing. As your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. A favorable outcome. So you've been working on something here. And you've been activated in something so that it can be healed. And the outcome of healing this is going to be very favorable for you. You can see, I mean, you have a bigger picture view anyway, naturally, right? So you can kind of see what's going to be happening for you. You can see ahead. And it says, immerse yourself in artistic and creative expression. You're known for being really bold and outspoken and blunt, right? And this is an invitation to really be free with how you express yourself creatively. Find a new way to express yourself, just for the fun of it, right? And then you're being advised, or the advice oracle in the black there is saying balance, Cirrus, which is the mother energy and the unconditional love energy, and born from within. And then you also got never judge another. So even when you see people struggling, even when you struggle, this struggle of others isn't to be judged. It doesn't mean they've made a wrong choice. It doesn't mean that they've done something wrong. It means they're learning something different. Maybe you learned it already, and maybe you want to even tell them how it is, but maybe they're learning a different solution to the same thing. Maybe the earth needs a different solution to the same problem, and that's what they're doing. You can't know that, right? So it would not behoove you to pass judgment on another. Remain more balanced within yourself. So when you do feel the need to do that, look within yourself on what's been activated in you, this need to correct people, right? And if you look back into your childhood, you might notice that there was a time where somebody was needing to correct you. And what happened was you adopted that way of being, and now you've been playing it out for others. So there may be an opportunity here to actually acknowledge that, understand why you're doing it, accept that you're doing it, accept that that's who you are and that's what you've been doing, that's how you were operating, that it was a bit out of balance because you can't know better for somebody else than they know for themselves. You can only know what's better for you. So then once you've accepted it, you can decide how you want to proceed. What is better for you now that you can see the bigger picture, now that you're free from the program and doing it out of habit. Cirrus is unconditional love, so that's the way you're balancing out these energies, is by loving the part of you that did that, loving the part of you that felt the need to do whatever it is. And that was just an example when I said the need to correct somebody. You're born from within, and so isn't everybody else. So it's from within you that you know what it is that you want to, how you want to operate, right? So once you're free from the need to do it out of a program from childhood, then you get to choose what's in line with your values. What makes you you, and what do you choose to do? And you can be as creative as you want in doing it, right? Like maybe you're just gonna be an example of the solution that you already found, so that if this person does want your solution, that they're inspired to ask. because you can see the big picture already, it doesn't mean that you need to impose it upon others or decide that others aren't doing it right. Okay, so this is actually a chance to free yourself. And you will really, really enjoy how it feels to be free of some of these things that are going to be activated in you now. To be kind of transformed and played out in the way that you deem favorable once you have the freedom to choose. Okay? Remember, this is just some information to reflect on, so it's meant to be helpful. If it's not helpful for you, then just leave it be. Perhaps you can pick another pile, and I'm going to move on to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. The Cosmic Heart. Devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer, a new earth, it's happening, keep holding the vision. You got 3 of these. Trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on, time is not running out. From the Archangel Michael deck, you got, you created this situation and you have the power to change it. Okay, trust the timing, a new earth, and the Cosmic Heart. You may feel some restrictions and wonder, why. And it's saying, like, you actually created that. And you can change it by changing something in the equation, right? So you may just need to accept the energy and balance it out and see it a new way. Keep your eye on your targeted intentions. So what are your intentions? What are you trying to achieve out of this is important to decide. Your creativity is at a peak, so you are afforded with the energy to come up with a different solution as you learn from your mistakes. So you know what doesn't work, right? You know what you don't like in this situation now. And they're not saying you created it to shame you or blame you, but to restore your power and to empower you and to remind you that you came here to seed this new way on earth. And so you had to pave the way for it to be okay to make mistakes when you're a pioneer, when you're doing something different and new. It may not have been time to do it yet. But when you set your intention for each thing you're doing, that's what you're doing, right? Is make your life a moving prayer. And you can do that just by setting your intention. So mistakes are okay to make. You need to be able to make mistakes in order to learn. And if there's a part of you that doesn't want to make mistakes, that's someone that needs your love, right? Like make sure you take the time to be present with that part of you and accept and love that part of you that was afraid to make mistakes. Maybe look at all the reasons why. You've got angels, true love, and Cancer. Cancer's mother love energy, but it's also right across the sky from Capricorn. So we have this axis of Cancer and Capricorn. And Capricorn energy is more independent and structured and wants to have a schedule. And Cancer is more nurturing and protective and nostalgic and stuck in the past. So Capricorn can pave a new way, but they'd like to have structure. So it's kind of like this perfect balance that needs to happen for a Capricorn to use their creativity, right? But your mistakes could actually be the inspiration for your creative force. Because if you're comfortable in your what you've created in your structure that's working, you won't have any reason to make a creative solution. But when you make a mistake, it's actually this gift where you can look for a creative solution which breaks you out of an old pattern, and it's allowing you more of this Cancer energy, a little bit more freedom, a little bit more ability to nurture some of that creativity within you. Doing things that you love to do. And maybe in talking with your angels or realizing that you are an angel here, Yes, even angels make mistakes. That's what I heard. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Yeah. Keep holding the vision. So that came up twice as well. So you're creating something here. Whatever it's not working for you, that's the gift of where you can actually create the change needed. So you know what your intention is, you keep your eye on that target, and then you creatively find a solution. And doing this from the love in your heart, from the love that you are, from the love that you brought here to earth. You're that too, you know, you're not just this strong structure of authority and responsibility. You're also this receptive energy, able to nurture, love, and make it okay that you make mistakes. Okay, so remember, this is just some information to reflect on, and it's meant to be helpful, so only take it if it is. And I'm going to end your reading there and move on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. You're not alone, isolation, physical connection, community. So right off the bat, Aquarius is that energy of the humanitarian, and a community is very important to the Aquarius. So, but this card also talked about isolation, so both are very important, you know. And you are being referenced towards time and nature, and that is for the purpose of letting go of fear. Now it says, you know, wherever your fears and doubts are, let them go. And if it's a doubt about why you're here, maybe you are feeling lonely, maybe you feel like the odd one out, like no one gets it, like there's just, it's hard to connect, that you see this bigger picture view and you see the way it could be, and you can't get people to kind of join you in that, you know. Those doubts and fears are here, you know, and you can let go of them. And the way to let go of them might be to accept that they're there, so that you can move forward with the wholeness of who you are, the parts of you that know that you're okay, that know that you're here for a reason, that know that you're not alone. You have your spirit guides, you know, or this highest version of yourself. You are here for a reason. So there's something that you're trying to do here, and you may have gotten discouraged along the way, but they're trying to remind you that it's just some fear and you can let go of that. So however you're practiced at doing that, get ready for a big breakthrough, it says. You know, you're going through a transformation. So whatever it is that you're releasing is going to allow you to step into a much more graceful place where you can appreciate the beauty again, and the beauty of yourself and others. And over here, I'm just drawn immediately to the card that says unrequited love. Right here. And it's like you'll even be able to see the beauty in that. So it says, decide how you want to feel. So when you're letting go of this fear, it's like, what are you going to replace it with? Maybe that feeling that you had could be interpreted as excitement, you know, because you're here on the precipice of something new, a big change. That could be exciting too. You may be looking at a dietary change. Just because your energy's changing, there might be some things that your body needs, and it's going to give you some urges to either cut something out or add something in, or do something in moderation. The unrequited love is perhaps, you know, someplace that's got to be very uncomfortable for an Aquarius. So if you do feel like you love somebody who doesn't love you back, this is something that you have to accept and love yourself through. And that's going to be very important to set yourself free from that. You'll start to see unrequited love as something completely different. And if love is what we are, how can love really be unrequited? We are all just love. So that means that it indicates there's a programming there that's allowing you to feel lonely. And that's just not the truth. You are not alone. We got Aries, so you're kind of having to push through some difficult spaces where nobody's gone before, maybe. So there's not a well-worn path for you. You're not really following in anyone's footsteps. But you are following in the footsteps of your own integrity. So make sure you defined. I got frustrated there because I couldn't speak for a moment. So that's an interesting thing, but make sure you define your values so you know that you're acting in accordance with your own values, and that keeps yourself in integrity. And creative expression, so you're not limited in any way. It's when you get inspired to something, like, that is a beautiful thing that you're free to do, which is create and express through creative means. And that is part of the reason that you're here. Part of the reason that you're here is pioneering something new, which has the flavor of your own integrity. That means your values. That means what you'll be doing is not for somebody else. It's not for anyone's approval. It's for what's important to you. And you're going to be able to do it creatively. And what's going to allow you to do this is the letting go of these fears that have been brought to your attention. And taking care of yourself really well with the paying attention to your diet, taking control and deciding how you want to feel, and loving all the unloved parts of yourself. The parts of yourself that haven't been loved yet, now it's time to do that. Okay. It says slow down, time in nature. So, whenever you can, just take that time to yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself to achieve and live by all the rules that everybody else has set forth. You're actually the trendsetter. And, when you follow the trends, it's probably for the opportunity to learn from them, but that's not the main reason why you're here. You're taking us into a new way of being. You're helping lead the revolution. Yeah. Okay. And you're doing this with your love of humanity and your connection to Earth, like to the being in tune with the Earth and feeling your presence here on Earth. Not as something foreign to you, but as something you are part of. Okay. Now I think we're complete. Now remember, this is just some information to reflect on, and it's meant to be helpful, so just take it if it's helpful for you. I'm going to end your reading there, and we're going to move on to Pisces. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so we've got weight of the world, boundaries, let it go, it's not yours to carry. And then we got shield yourself. And shield yourself is a card about putting yourself in the expectation that things are working out for you, that you are safe. We've got write about your thoughts and feelings. You know who you really are, with the dragonfly. Business venture, flower power. So you may benefit from the use of some essential oils at this time, and that may help calm you and just help you feel that groundedness and that safety. And I want to just say that you feel everything, and so you're feeling when people are not happy, you're feeling when people are struggling, you're feeling when people are attacking you or judging you or you're not approving or having doubts and fears about you, or if you're thinking you're different, or, any of those things, you're going to be sensitive to. And it's okay to perceive those things, right? But it's not really useful if it's other people's stuff. It's only useful if it shows you something about you that feels like a boo-boo, that feels like it needs your love. So if you take the time to write about your thoughts and feelings, whatever it is you're perceiving, which may be very overwhelming because it's a lot, right? The weight of the world is not on your shoulders, and in order to help you realize that, if you write it down and put it on paper, at least you have a place to put it. And also you can see who you really are through that, because you'll see any contradictions, you'll see any questions that are still yet unanswered, and you can ask them one by one. But this this business venture that you have, it's going to have something to do with some sort of impulse that you'll have, that you'll come to, or like an inspiration that you'll have through this process of kind of unloading this weight that you've had on you, and bringing things into balance by looking at both sides of things, right? So when you start asking these questions of the universe, they'll answer, and you'll get to see yourself much more clearly. You'll get to see a more balanced view. When you have negative feelings and thoughts, you can acknowledge that they're present, right? And if you don't feel like writing, maybe there's some other creative way you can express. But it may be something that you're actually going to share with others as a business. We've got integrity, which is meaning stay in line with your own values, like what's important to you. What are your values? Have you defined those for yourself? And anything that's not in line with your integrity, you don't have to invest your thoughts in, because your thoughts create your reality, is what the card says. And that means that if you are indulging in the fears and the negative feelings that are all around, and perhaps even within you, then you will create more of that, so that you have more chances to work through it within yourself. So it just makes sense to take the time to balance out each energy, so that you can put it to rest, or to write it down and balance it out that way, so you can put it to rest. The way I balance energy is I acknowledge it, I validate why I feel that way, I'm present with it, right? I'm understanding myself on why it's there. I accept that it's there, and then I love the part of me who feels it. So I can welcome that part of me back in with the wholeness of who I am and all that I've handled to this point. It's like collecting little fragmented parts that had misunderstandings or fears. It's like treating them like a little child that needs comfort. But only yours, and only the ones from outside that poke something in you, will be useful to you. And when you have balanced out your own energy, then it won't be poked in you anymore. That's how you'll know. So I can imagine that you are perceiving a lot, that you can see there may be a need for, like, what you're doing for other people. Other people may need your service once you kind of perfect this method of whatever it is you're going to be doing. So you know who you really are, meaning you came here to do something, and you don't have to do everything. You just have to figure out what's important to you and do that, and make sure that all the thoughts that you're indulging in purposely are in support of that. And you may come to that through creative expression. And when you're expecting kind of to have to protect yourself and create boundaries, it's telling that story of, I'm not safe here. And so I really feel like that's something to more balance out, and to just see and start discerning, what do I agree to having in my life, and what am I going to move away from, And that's how I see shield yourself in the cards, because I don't necessarily ascribe to putting up a bubble around yourself, or, the various ways that you can energetically protect yourself. But by all means, do what's appropriate for you. Okay, so remember, this is just some information to reflect on, and only take it if it's helpful for you. And I'm going to complete your reading there, and perhaps we'll see you in a future reading. Bye now.